Coming up on Unpacked, it's almost like you are less of a man if there's no children, right?
They are the ones that are saying, when are we seeing grandchildren? We're waiting for grandchildren.
Being married doesn't mean that automatically you will have kids.
When did you actually realize that you have fertility issues? When it comes to having children, the expectation is that it happens easily and naturally. But for some, that is not the case. This is the discussion with today's guests. Let's unpack. Thabo and Nosipho Nkosi's love story started in 2007 when Thabo was delivering meat to Nosipho's uncle. The two connected, but soon lost contact with each other. As fate would have it, they were reunited again in 2009 and got married 2 years later. Their plan was to start the family they had always dreamt of. However, after several unsuccessful tries, a medical diagnosis revealed the reason behind their 9-year struggle to conceive. This is their story. Let's unpack. Welcome to the show, Thabo, Nosipho. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's an honor.
Thank you. So this is not an easy chat. And I think I've become significantly more aware of it after I shared my own personal journey of being a mother. But before becoming a mother, I've been told, it's a ngwana, or it's a ningwana. I mean, let's start at that point. Thabo, you are of age.
Yes, that's correct.
And then people look at you and they're like, and then? What has that energy been like for you?
So it's been a daunting journey for me, especially when you are with the boys. You know, when you're with the boys, the conversation will start with anything else, but then it will end up in having children. So when you're having a conversation with the gents, then you say, when are you making a baby? You've been married for a long time, and are you able to do it? It's very, very painful. It's something that you face in almost each and every gathering that one comes across in life. So as soon as you meet with the guys, the first thing that they'll talk about anything else, beers and other stuff, but it will get to having children. How many children do you have?
But let's go back. Nosipho, maybe share with me how you guys met, how you became a couple, and what that journey's been like.
Okay. We met in 2007 in Emelo, and then it was a day. The guy approached me. I was really annoyed, to being honest.
You're not telling us how he approached you. Were you in your car and you was at the robot, or what happened?
Okay. What happened is that I was babysitting my uncle's child, my cousin. And then he used to bring some ribs and polony because he stays closer to Heidelberg, where there is a company that is producing and supplying fresh meat all the time. So now he was the meat guy for everyone in their workplace. So my uncle used to send him for that. When he came to the house to drop off the meat, then that's when he saw me. Yeah, and then he got to work and told my uncle that, I want that girl. My uncle said, umntwana loyo.
And how old were you at the time?
I was 18. I was waiting for my matric results.
And how old was he at the time?
He was 20.
It's a 9 years difference.
Yeah, it's a 9 years difference.
Okay.
Yeah. So obviously my uncle was concerned that Thabo is old. He can't be in a relationship with me. I'm still young. He told him that Thabo, Nosipho has dreams, so you can't just want to be in a relationship with her. She's still young. And obviously, you know how guys are when they start working, they are after the girls, they just bought the car. Yeah, that's how. And then it happened that we bumped to each other in town. Then he gave me a lift on my way back home. And then that's when we said, okay, no, we can be in a relationship. But in my mind, I knew that, no, next year I'm going to university. So definitely I'm not going to be with this guy. And in the couple of days, I'm going back home.
No fitisa now.
Yeah.
In the meantime.
Yeah. I was just getting him out of my bag, basically. Yeah.
But from your side, were you serious?
No, the feeling was mutual.
Okay. So potentially, guys.
Hey, love is something strange. I don't know what happened. It just changed out of the blue. It's something that is out of control. So with my intention was that, it's nice chica, nothing serious. So, but with time, I started to develop real feelings for her, starting to love her seriously. Then one day, I just dropped the question, say, are you serious? Do you want us to take it to another level?
Uncle.
Yes.
Okay, so...
And they were surprised as well.
How? So now the uncles came, you did the things, La Nyala. How long ago was that?
We did it from 2011.
2011.
So yeah, 2011.
Yeah, the first negotiations were in 2010, end of 2010.
2011.
Hey guys, I'm not here for family meeting. but on a serious note, so now prior to that, because you are young, maybe the pressures were not there and times are changing, but prior to getting married, did you ever have pressure from your family?
On my side, I didn't have it by then because when he paid lobola, I was 22. So I was still young. But then because of the age difference and looking at him, you see, he's a big guy. And I had like a tiny body. But then my aunt said it straight. Hey, Wena, give this man a child. He's old, like...
Okay, that's deep.
Never told me that,
Is this after getting married?
It was, after getting married.
And from your side, I mean, you were a lot older. When did the pressure start about having children?
The pressure is actually from the family. It's getting lesser and lesser because I'm more vocal. So I'm very, radical. When I speak to people, I'm very radical. So when I come across, when I'm answering that question, it actually stops people from...
continuing.
Yeah, because, for example, let's say I meet somebody and they said, how many children do you have? I said, no, I don't have children. Then they will say, no, man, are you serious? You're lying. Then I ask, must I take it off and show you that I don't have? And then that person will actually then change their mind.
Yeah.
And then they won't continue asking further questions.
But did you feel
that serious look?
Did you feel the pressure though before getting married?
There is. It's continuous. But then on my father's side, my father was more relaxed. Okay, he passed on. He was more relaxed. He was not pressuring me to have children. He never, not even once to say, when am I getting grandchildren and stuff like that. But people who are not my father, were from the family, they are the ones who are saying, when are we seeing grandchildren? We're waiting for grandchildren. And then I tell them, it's out of my control. I do not have control. It will happen when the right time comes.
Yes.
They said, no, the right time is now. I said, are you going to tell me that the right time is now? It's not yet time. So if I'm not ready, I'm not ready. And if it's not happening, it's not happening. There's nothing I can do.
So now you get married and, the old belief is that Linyalo is like solidified by Mwana.
Yes.
So you weren't getting that much pressure. You were young, except for the aunt who said, if I'm Mwana. What happened now? Like, how far into the marriage did it go that people were like, Kinago, and now you are actively trying?
I think it started when other cousins were getting married. Like they will get married in December, then March, they are pregnant. Then the question or a comment will be, hey, you are also following. We are also waiting for you. Hey, we've been waiting. And then everyone in the house will be like, hey, we've been waiting for Nosipho. Ibile have a baby shower. We're going to bring all the Lamborghinis and everything. They show you that they are waiting. So they will just wait for a moment to make that comment. So I know that in their corners, they've been saying, Auntie, what's happening?
So when did you guys decide, okay, and maybe actually the question I should ask is, did you always want kids?
Yes, I wanted kids.
You always wanted children?
Yes.
Did you always want children?
I never wanted kids.
before?
Based on my background. I was raised by my grandparents, and the situation was not nice. Not to say we were poor, but my grandparents were responsible for everything. Like, our parents got us when they were still young. So I wanted to be at a good stage to be working and be able to provide for the child. So that's bringing up just changed my way of thinking. So I have been telling myself that I need to wait for the time, like get married, work, and be financial independent. I didn't want my child to grow in an extended family where maybe my mom is responsible for the child. Yeah, I think that's where it differs with me and him. So when we met and when we got married, I was still at an early stage on my career. I had just completed university. I didn't have any work experience. So I wanted to accumulate everything before I can say now I want a child.
Which is more the modern way of thinking, you know.
Yes.
It's not like that belief, because some parents will say, it's a ngwana man, o tla bona ko pele." the God will provide,
No.
you know, without a
Yeah.
plan. Now
Yes.
we like to plan things out a lot better. We don't have as many children and all those things. So now we know you both eventually at some point you wanted kids.
Yes.
When did you actively start trying to have kids?
I can say we started actively trying when I was 25, 3 years in the marriage. We started consulting with the doctors. Yeah.
And what actually led you to be consulting?
Okay, it has been a long time doing the deed, but then there were no results. It's like drinking a beer and not getting drunk. Then it was like that. So we kept on trying. On my side, as much as I was not sharing much with her, I made sure that every second day we on it. Because the pressure from the gents behind, they said, man, you are weak. No, they tell, no, you are weak.
Wow.
You must do something. Even others will come and offer space, thinking maybe I can't get it up. It's not about getting it up. It's the quality of the delivery. That's the problem. So with them, it's maybe this guy's got erectile dysfunction. Maybe that is why.
And I'm glad you're mentioning that because, you know, firstly, there are two completely different pressures that happen in a couple setting. When you as the man, it's almost like you are less of a man if there's no children, right? However, usually when a couple is struggling to conceive, they always will push that the woman test first. So between the two of you, who do you think experienced the most pressure?
Well, pressure in my view, it's individually felt. I can't say mine is bigger than hers or hers is bigger than mine.
Can I say why I would think the pressure might have been bigger on you? Because you were older.
Yeah.
You've been dealing with the pressure for longer, but at the same time, the pressure might have also been big on you because you're young, and the expectation is, being a young 20-something-year-old, you must fall pregnant like this. So now you go to consult at the doctor. Was it a urologist or a gynecologist that you booked first?
I can't remember. It was a urologist.
Yeah, it's the urologist.
Yeah, because we've been going all through all these doors. So
Yes.
Yeah.
And the reason I ask is usually doctors have said that it's actually easier to test the man first. But usually, because women go for gynae appointments anyways, that's usually where the question would come up. So was the fertility thing discussed with your doctor or with his doctor?
We went to a general...
A GP.
A GP,
Yes.
who I think he's very experienced in the area. He ran all the tests on me. And then he said, no, you are ovulating. Okay, everything is fine. Let's move to Thabo.
I understand.
Then that's when he transferred him to the urologist.
So it actually did start with you. Because usually it starts with the woman.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you get to the urologist, and what did they explain to you in terms of the test they need to do? And I'll bring it back to this thing of men saying maybe you can't get it up, because it's not always about that.
Yes. Okay, what happened with me when we went to the urologist is that he advised me that he needs to do, I forgot the name, cyst or something, whereby they insert via the urethra a camera down there to check the condition of the bladder on the inside, if there's any growths and stuff like that that might be preventing me from doing it. It's a very painful exercise
But
that I went through.
I'm going to ask for details, just so that we all understand. The urologist obviously is the one that deals with the male organs, when the gynecologist deals with the female organs and reproductive system. Now, I'm assuming there are a series of questions that they ask you before you get to the part that they say, let's stick a camera in. So do they first test your sperm, or do they just examine, ask a few questions, and then it goes straight to camera?
For me, in my view might be wrong though.
Yes.
How I viewed it individually, it was more on the rush to get me to the camera so that they can claim more on the medical aid. Because he didn't ask me a lot of questions. He said, okay, just did a physical check, and then said that everything so far looks fine. Then maybe the problem is on the internal. What I suggest to you, if you sign, then I'll book you in the hospital on a certain day, and then you come, we do the test whereby we insert the camera through your shaft, and then it goes down there to have an examination, and then it's going to cut a sample. You need to expect pain afterwards because it's going to cut a sample. Then we take that sample to the lab and analyze it, and then we'll give you the results whether you can make or you can't make babies.
I'm so shocked that they did not test the sperm first.
No, they didn't. This is the last thing that actually I also didn't do.
Yes.
I eventually, now when I was supposed to do it, said, I don't want to do the dice playing.
Okay, so now they tested, and what were the results?
There was no conclusive results. He said there's no infection on the inside. He thinks. When somebody who's professionally trained, whom you regard as a professional, thinks, I think, he's not giving you the confidence. I lost confidence from the way he said, I think. Then I stopped going to him from that day because I've realized that this was just a money-making ploy. There was nothing out of it because there was no conclusive results to say, no, the problem is this and this. He said he found no infection, so he thinks I should come and do another test. I said, it's a waste of my time and money, and I left.
So now, in total, I mean, you've been married for 9 years now.
It's 10.
10 years, trying for maybe 6 years?
I think we've been trying from day one because I was not on contraceptives.
Yes.
You can say we've been trying from day one because Thabo wanted a child since then,
When did you actually realize that you have fertility issues? Like, when did it become I think we have a problem?
I realized 3 years in the marriage that there might be some fertility issues because I had started tracking my ovulation and my diet as well had changed, like eating more avocado, eggs, and milk, like dairy products. And then also what triggered that thought also was my colleagues where I was working. We had people getting married like now.
Yeah.
And then now they are submitting the maternity leave. So now it was a joke in the corridor. Can't you need maternity leave? You must be careful. This manager acts as if she likes you. She doesn't like you. She doesn't like you. You must always look at the food that she buys. She always throws in some contraceptives there. You are always together. So it was more now a joke even at work. So then that's when I noticed that if it is noticed by my colleagues at work and my family also on this side saying, hey, you need to make a baby for your man, then that's when like it started clicking that.
I love how people say make a baby for your man. Like, is it not for you as well?
Yeah, it's more like Relebogile. It's more like in our community as a woman when you are married, everything that you do it for the
husband,
especially for the kids. If you can't conceive, he will leave you.
It's more like a woman is a vending machine. You just drop in a coin and then pick up a baby.
And I mean, it's interesting because the assumption again goes back to the woman is the problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
For it to say he will leave you. So now you'd been tested, everything is fine. You got an inconclusive test. Did you reach a point where you were like, the issue might be with me?
Most of the time, I was in denial. I was actually accusing her that she's taking contraceptives. So we had a lot of arguments throughout the relationship. I was thinking that she's on contraceptives. The belief out there is that we as men do not have such
issues.
problems. Yeah. So with me, all this time, it was her having a problem. No, this woman doesn't love me. Why doesn't want to do a baby for me? We've been together for a while. I've proven myself to be a worthy husband, and she's not getting pregnant. So we started having those fights. And then eventually, my uncle stepped in and said, no, you also need to go and continue with the test and everything. So then we went to another private hospital in Midrand, and then we saw a different urologist, and then he took blood samples, and then the results, when they came, they said, no, my testosterone levels are a bit low. So it's because of that we do not have a child. Okay, then...
And how did that make you feel, getting those results?
I was disappointed, to be honest. I was disappointed because all this time, all these years, I was thinking she's the one with the problem.
Do you think society shaped your mind to always think it might be the woman?
Yeah, we as men, we shape, the society shapes the mind of a man to think that, no, we are superior beings. That is it's a very flawed way of thinking. But we automatically assume, so even when we talk in our circles, you finally something, just cheapo a bit, maybe uzoba right. They don't think that it can be a man. Never, not even once a man thought of it until when I came out and told him that, no, the problem is not with her. It's actually with me. That's what the urologist is saying. He says my testosterone level are low. Then they said, weak.
Wow.
Weak. They say like that.
Like,
you are weak.
There are so many issues with what they're saying, but outside of that, because we won't have time to get into that, but I will make clear that is something I completely disagree with being said, because it's not just insulting in the tone of how it's being used to you, it's also insulting to Casta, who for her is a woman. But anyways, what was your understanding of testosterone levels being a problem?
Okay. My understanding was that if there is this problem, it can be reversed. I just need to take testosterone supplements, which I did. There was sachets. The doctor gave me a lot of sachets that you can apply anywhere in the skin, and then it will boost you up. So it was boosting me up. Then I was starting to have a lot of these uncontrollable erections throughout the day and night.
So is that part of the side effects?
Yeah, that's actually, I don't know. Maybe the testosterone has to do with most getting those feelings, erotic feelings or whatever, I don't know. But I was having a lot of those. Like throughout the day, I will be having hard on every 2 minutes, taking those. So then in my mind, I was thinking, okay, then I'm getting there. This will be sorted. But then after having taken those for, I think was it 3 months? Still no results. And then we were pushing now, doing it more and more and more. Every time when we get a chance, we do it, hoping that, okay, now that there is testosterone issue, that means it's sorted. If there's this kind of a side effect, then maybe it's the results that is expected. But still nothing came out of it. Then I started to slide into depression, said, nothing works. Then people came and offered Mpesu, which I didn't know by the time what is the It's a traditional herb. It's a traditional Viagra.
Traditional Viagra.
Yes.
But again...
People think now it's...
Again, Viagra, or if we say Viagra or traditional Viagra, is more about you getting an erection. Nothing to do with the quality of your sperm.
Exactly.
Nothing to do with whether your sperm, can actually swim up. I mean, I've even heard of women who are allergic to sperm. Like their body kills the sperm once it enters their bodies. So, okay, so now they bring you the herbs and things. You already have uncontrollable erections. Now you want to add this on top of it. Did you use it?
Yes, I did take it, a little bit of it. And then I realized that actually it's not good if you are suffering from hypertension. So I'm hypertensive because of the body and through the genes in my family. A lot of my people are suffering from hypertension. So then I started having uncontrollable headaches and stuff like that. And then when I went to the doctor, then he said, no, you should not be taking any boosters or whatsoever because with hypertension, that thing can trigger a heart attack.
Yes.
If you're taking it too much, then you might die while you're on the act. Then I only realized, I didn't know. And then I stopped taking it. And then other advices start to come. No, go and see a traditional man, old man in such and such a place. He will give you imbiza. Then I went for those things. They were just laxatives for me. Nothing happened.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
just flashing the system.
Yes.
And still nothing. And then they said, no, you finally pay the mind daughter. You go take this page. Still nothing happens.
So you tried everything, Western medicine, traditional medicine.
Yes.
The testosterone, did you go back to that same doctor to say, listen, I did everything you told me and it's not working?
No, at that time I was already depressed. What came to mind is that these specialists are too expensive, and then they suggest something, you use it, you get no results. You go back again, they suggest something else, you use it, no results, but yet you're still paying. Why am I paying if I'm not getting value for money? Then I said, I'm no longer going there. So every now and then somebody will come, hi man, I know an old man in such and such a place. Let's go there. He will do a little bit of imbiza for you and then you'll be sorted. Then I go, pay for that. Is normally doing traditional people 150, 250, that's the amount you pay for such things. And then you get it and then you go home. You consume it for the 7 days. You must not partake in any intercourse during that time. And then fine, you stay for that, you take that thing. And then after a while, and then after 7 days, then you can start doing it. And then you come with renewed motivation now to say, yeah, I've drank this thing, that's going to work. And then you do it again, nothing.
Did you find that sex eventually just became clinical? Like you were no longer making love to your wife. It's like test, trial, error, test, experiment.
Yeah, to be honest with you, she was actually my lab rat.
Oh, I love your honesty. Yeah.
I'm being honest. She was like because every time I get something, maybe it's a pill, maybe it's those sachet, whether it's pesu, whether it's visa from somewhere, I'll consume it and test it on her to see if can she fall pregnant. So every now and then it was more of a routine, more than now an emotional, romantic kind of a setup. It was more like, let me get her pregnant, let me get her pregnant. It was too much pressure, let me get her pregnant. And the more I was trying, the more I was getting depressed because I was consuming a lot of pills, a lot of muti, pesus, and traditional stuff. I was trying everything, trying to get her to conceive, and it didn't happen. So it was very, very frustrating.
What made you decide to share your journey and fertility issues publicly?
I decided to ask Thabo that we shared our infertility challenges with other people because I felt like we were not being accommodated from the family outside, like at work and in the entire spaces where we go. Like I wanted people to be aware that being married doesn't mean that automatically you will have kids. Yeah.
So when you say you didn't feel accommodated, what do you mean by that?
Instead, I felt attacked and discriminated because first thing when I meet someone the first time, when I greet them, hi, I'm Nosipho, hi, the conversation go on. But the next question definitely will be, how many kids do you have? How are your kids doing? So I felt like it was becoming too much. And then I told myself that if I don't make the change, no one will make the change. If I don't stand up and try to contribute to the community and make a change, no one will make the change.
How badly do you feel society discriminates against people that struggle to conceive or don't have children even?
In my view, I think the society lacks the sufficient knowledge and awareness that such things do happen and it's things that are beyond one's control. People are so insensitive. They I don't know, maybe they've created a wall to do away with worrying about somebody else's feelings. They don't worry about your feelings. They just speak out without even thinking twice about it, that this is going to hurt you. So that's what happened. For example, what came to mind is we were having a trip going somewhere in Mpumalanga with the friends. And then there's two of us who don't have kids in the whole group of many friends. And then they said, no, the parent ones should travel with one party. We don't want to mix with you guys. Even when we got there, they said, Abangazali, they must sleep this side, we will sleep this side. It was very painful.
Why would anybody say that? I'm so confused.
No, it's just for them, it's more like a joke, not knowing that as much as it is
so
a joke,
serious.
but it's serious because it's something that affects somebody's life. So they said, no, we don't mix with the barren people. Barren people should sleep alone. That side, they should travel alone. We don't want to mix with them. We'll only drink together, and then when you go to sleep, we must...
Have you ever just, when a person asks, oh, so do you have children? Have you ever just straight up said, we are struggling to conceive?
I have started saying that.
And then what do they say? They're quiet afterwards.
They just go quiet. And some of them will say, oh, sorry, I didn't know. I was just thinking that since you guys are married, you have a child. And looking at your age, I thought that you have a child. But honestly, I think that is the best way. You
Just
have
to
to
say.
Tell them straight up, because it also relieves some burden on your shoulders, because now this person knows you've already addressed the elephant in the room. Unlike pulling the bushes where you are not honest. Yeah.
I just think I would probably be the person, if somebody was mean to me about not being able to conceive and making comments after I've told them I'm struggling, I literally would be like, please send your husband to my house so we can solve this. Because, it gets so like you get upset that people are so insensitive. You want to, actually, thanks for mentioning me not having children. Please send your husband to my house so that we can solve this issue.
On that line, hey, sorry to disturb.
Yes, no, say.
Something came to mind. I was thinking, how about talk to my brother who looks just like me.
I was going to ask.
Take a sample from him.
Yes.
And do artificial insemination. But then at some point, then it came to mind and it said, I should not be trying. But it did come to me to say, why don't I maybe get my brother to... Because traditionally in the past, if you couldn't do it, but they will not tell you as a husband, but they will send you somewhere and then get your brothers to do they did for you.
Yes.
And then you are happy with having a child. You only know maybe later.
That it's not biologically.
It's not your biological child.
Interestingly, much as culturally we all know, even if the roles had been reversed, it would be your sister.
Yeah.
When you go and explore other options, I think those are things that get presented to you. So have you considered using the sperm of another person? Because maybe it's too complicated for it to be the sperm of your own brother just because life is not what it used to be. Have you had that consideration?
Okay. What happened is that we considered IVR, but not with a different person.
Which one is IVR? IVF, yes. In vitro fertilization.
Yes. Instead of going to my brother, we considered that first. And then the fees that they presented to us was 70,000 rand.
It's very expensive.
With no guarantee. Then I said, I'm not much of a gambler. To be taking so much money and gambling with it on this one, I'm not prepared to do it. I was prepared to do it if there was guarantee that if in case this doesn't work, you'll have a second try. It's only a first and the last try at 70,000 rand. Then I'll be having a debt, having taken a loan for 70,000 rand, try to have a child, and then the next 5 years I'll be paying that 70,000 rand back with no results. So for me, it was more of a gambling thing. Then I said, let me rather not. And then there were offers from female friends, colleagues and stuff, said, your wife can't do it. Why don't you try me? I can give you a child. And then I was like, no, man. I told her, she knows about it.
How do you feel about that?
Some things you don't have to take them to the head.
Yeah, I can't take them to the head.
And what came to my mind was like, how sure are they that I'm the one with the problem?
Society says the woman is the problem.
So I said, no, they can try it. It's fine. They will call me.
Good luck. They'll phone you after.
But I addressed them. I said, no.
Yeah.
The problem is not with her. It's with me. My testosterone levels are low. I said, no, there's nothing of that nature. Try me, you'll see. You'll have a child. I said, no, I can't do that. What about my wife? So there were others will come and say, no, I'll come and be your surrogate. I said, do you know who has the problem? I put it in Zulu, say, angzali, angzalisi. So why do you want to play a surrogate mother, whereas you don't know, the problem is with me. So are you going to bring another man to play my role?
So where are you guys today? in this whole conversation, because you've explored IVF, which we know currently fertility issues don't actually get covered by medical aid.
Yeah.
So even if you have medical aid and access to private care, it is extremely expensive. It becomes a luxury that's afforded to those that can afford it. Where are you today?
I would say this is a challenge that is there every day. So some days are good, some days are worse. Just simple infertility, it's more like you are mourning. It's more like a mourning period. You try to go through it. Some days you feel like, no, I'm done. I have heard. Then some days, and then it comes back. So it's that. But I am learning to live in the present. When I'm in that phase, I try to face it. And then when I'm in the other phase of forgetting about it, then I'm there, like, yeah, that's how I deal with it. And then in terms of the process, we have went again to the gyne this year, where they have done a test, because remember before I had not gone to the gyne. So this year we went to the gyne, and then unfortunately they've discovered that I have fibroids, of which I think it's something, fibroids to other women, they develop after they maybe 30 or something. So now I'm 32, so maybe that's why it's developing. So that's why it's an ongoing process. It's not like, okay, we accepted that we are struggling with kids.
You're still trying.
Yeah. So it's an everyday, it's part of our lives. We are trying, you know.
And from your side, if you reach a point where you are unable to conceive and the other options, be it surrogacy, would you consider adoption?
Actually, when it comes to adoption, I did consider it and I did discuss it with her. But then she wasn't comfortable with adopting, because I was saying, let's adopt one of the kids in the family. And then she said, no, she's not prepared to do that. She would rather have her own child or not have any. Then I respected her feelings. In my view was that it's best for her that she's explicitly saying it to me than bringing a child and then frustrating that child and creating a monster. If she herself is not available for parenting under those conditions, then I'm okay with it. Then we'll stay together as long as we are in love, because I think our love conquers all. So we are together. I'm happy. So I'm no longer worried about having a child anymore.
What is your reason that you would prefer to have your own biological child before considering adoption?
You know what? I have an aunt who adopted a daughter. And then there was, it happened that the child passed away. No one in the family treated that child as the aunt's daughter. So I just thought, what will happen in case I die? Because now we are making this decision in a marriage. So if maybe I die, will Thabo change his mind about this child? You know, like a lot of things happen. Or what will happen if maybe we both pass away in a car accident? How will our family treat this child? So let me rather not bring a child in a family where I know that anything can happen. I think it's because of our race or of our culture that we tend to discriminate as to a family is only a blood.
I understand.
You understand, yeah. So
and your concern
I'm
is
not
valid.
comfortable on that.
Yeah. So if I understand correctly, then you guys are, obviously still don't have children, but you're more at peace with it.
Yeah, I'm at peace with it.
You're at peace with it, but it's still something you're hopeful for to happen. And I think it's so important that you shared the story, that so many couples are struggling with this and maybe are not comfortable to share, because it feels like society makes you less of a man or less of a woman because you're unable to conceive currently. I think I'm just grateful that you made the decision to speak about it. We need to hear more of these stories. Any final words from your side?
Yeah, well, my final word is, if society could learn to be more sensitive towards people's feelings and not ask such questions, maybe wait for that person to be free to talk about it, because not everyone is like me. Because with me, if you ask me, I'll give you straight. So as I said, I'm radical. I just say it in a very rough way so that you understand that I don't like what you're asking me, but I will give it to you. And then at times when you're sitting alone, you even question God to say, is God really on my side? Why people who are promiscuous out there, they'll just go bang, bang, and then the child is born. And for me, it takes me 10 years not to have a child while I passionately want the child. Those who don't want the child, because others will have the child and still abort the child, or they will have the child and then dump the child and then that's it, or give the child for adoption. I want my own child. I can't get it. Why is God not listening to me? Because I've been praying until I stopped praying. To be honest with you, I stopped praying. Because I was praying for the child for the past 9 years. Then since the starting of this year, I decided, no more praying for me for child. If it happens, it will happen. It will be through God's mercy. So if people could just learn not to ask that question, it's very painful, and avoid it. That's my take.
Final words from your side?
I would say to those couples who are facing infertility, they need to take care of themselves first, because it's a very draining challenge emotionally. They need to seek professional help, go for therapy. You just don't have to sit in your house and think everything is it's the end of the world. Just go out and seek help. Pray. You will have to pray more than you have prayed before. And keep hope. And that's all.
Thank you so much. I think, and I get where both of you are coming from. I've heard many people say that they fell pregnant the moment they stopped trying, because there was no stress, there was no all these other things. I'm hopeful for you. I think hope is not lost. You never know what's going to happen. Doctors are restricted in their power. There's only so much they can do. And I hope that you are able to get what it is that you are wishing and praying for. I really, really do. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Nosipho and Thabo. Thank you for coming through.
Okay,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Relebogile.
To those of you that can resonate with the story because you're also suffering, I hope you do not do so in silence. There are more couples than you know of. There are more individuals that you may even be aware of that are struggling with conceiving children. I think the most important thing that was shared by our guest, Thabo, which is, please, let's be sensitive with one another. You have no idea the battles that couples are facing. While falling pregnant is easy for some, it is a hard daily struggle for others. And as Nosipho said, it's like being in mourning, and that is, grieving the child that you're unable to have. Thank you so much for joining in. Continue with the conversations. Our socials are up on your screens. Have a good night. Next time on Unpacked.
I don't know how it feels to be a girl. I have no idea how it feels to be a boy.
Why was that your choice of pronouns?
Being intersex, right, is not really a gender identity. It's just how someone is born.
No two intersex people are the same. Unpacked with Relebogile Mabotja. New episodes weekdays at 5:30 p.m. on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Television edited broadcasts weekdays at 5 p.m. Open up to S3.